All right, I'm going to walk you through today a really epic Clay workflow. And first, I'll talk about what Clay is and how we wrote an extremely hyper-personalized email sequence, not just one email, but 4 emails with personalization in it for a new campaign we're running, completely with AI. And yeah, super excited. This is my first actual video about Clay. I've been seeing people post about it forever. Yeah, I figured I should share with you guys some of what I'm working on here. So first of all, if you don't know what Clay is, definitely go check it out. It's honestly, like, in my opinion, the coolest outbound tool I've ever seen. And you probably have heard of it, right? Like, it's popping off all over LinkedIn. And basically what it is it does a few things. It's mainly a tool just to automate all different parts of the outbound process. It's kind of just a tool that connects all other outbound tools together, right? So like where you get your data, where you can, AI personalized copy, and then connecting with your actual like sending tools, right? Like Instantly or Smartly or whatever. So it's really a workflow tool that just makes all of the, one of the problems I found with cold outreach is you just have so many different tools you have to kind of go back and forth between, right? So first of all, it just saves time by doing everything in one place, and connecting all tools together and automating a lot of the workflow, right? It also is an enrichment tool, right? So you could basically enrich any data point, right? They have access to like 75 different data providers. So you might be using something like Apollo, or you might be scraping LinkedIn, but basically Clay has access to all of these different tools, and it'll API call them to enrich data for you. So you can basically use all the different data enrichment tools, but just again put it in one place and pay one price. And then beyond that, what I'm really going to show you today is the power of what you can do with AI personalization. So in my opinion, the coolest thing about Clay, and by the way, guys, I don't work for them. I'm not even an affiliate for them. This is just me sharing with you like what I'm doing and why I think you all should do it, right? So just want to give that disclaimer. But the coolest thing about Clay, and the main reason I'm using it, is just to AI personalize emails at scale, right? Because at the end of the day, if you've been running outbound campaigns for a while, if you've been doing it the last few years, you've likely seen it get harder and harder, right? And just as a consumer, you probably receive a lot more cold emails and LinkedIn messages in your inbox, right? So outbound still works better than ever. It's a tried and true lead gen channel that will always work, but it has gotten more saturated recently. I wouldn't say saturated because I feel like saturated makes it feel like it doesn't work anymore. It definitely still works, but it's gotten a lot more competitive. A lot more people, like, it's gotten easier to do, right? A lot of the latest software tools like Instantly and Smartly, like a lot of these tools have made it easier to do, so therefore more people do it, right? And of course, more people want to do it. It's an amazing channel, right? With Outbound, you basically create revenue and leads out of thin air because you have no ad spend. All you need to do is just pay for some minimal software tools, and then you can get leads, right? So it's like free lead gen basically, right? So a lot of people have figured that out, and more people are doing Outbound now, which means it's harder to stand out and harder to get a meeting with someone than it was a couple years ago, right? So in light of that, in my opinion, when something gets harder, that's not a bad thing. I like to look at it as a good thing because that means that less people will do it, right? Or it means that the bar, like if you just like the bar is lower, right? Or the bar is higher, which means if you can be above that bar, you can unlock amazing results, right? Meaning when something gets harder, or like anything, like even like forget about marketing, right? Like let's say that you're in an industry that starts to get busier and more saturated. What that means is that, if you just do better than everyone else, if you could just be different or better, then you can unlock all the results, right? Because when something is busy, right, something's saturated, that means there's also a lot of demand. That means that the thing works, right? So there is a lot of potential. It just means that there's a lot of other people in space that are competing against you, and you just have to be better than them, right? But again, when I say the bar is lower, I also mean like, most people just don't do a very good job, right? With most things, right? Most people are lazy in how they approach their marketing, right? So with cold email, most people are still using like very generic templates. So if you could just do a couple things better than them, such as personalize your emails, you'll stand out miles, right? Same in many industries, right? Like even in the digital marketing agency space, right? That got really crowded over the last few years. A lot of people realized, hey, it's a good idea to start a digital marketing agency, right? So more people flooded in, but then there's a lot more like crappy digital marketing agencies, people that don't really do a very good job for their clients or aren't very good at what they do, right? And what that means is, yes, it's gotten more saturated, but also the bar has been lowered for quality because there's just a lot of people flooding in, which means if you're a really great digital marketing agency, let's say you really dominate a certain niche or an offer, and you have a way to position yourself and stand out, then it's all good because, like, again, you just got to do a couple of things right, and you'll stand out against everyone, right? So how that relates to this is, yes, cold email's gotten a little bit harder, But again, all that means is you have to be better, right? If you could just be different and be a little bit better than what everyone else is doing that's starting to do cold email, then you'll unlock all of the potential and all of the winnings, right? So don't get worried when you just see anything start to get busier or more saturated. It just means it's an opportunity to stand out and be different and capture all that demand. And again, how that relates to AI personalization is I believe that that's really like the biggest way to stand out. So there's two ways that will help make your cold emails and your cold outreach stand out. And at this point, they're becoming really important. But at some point, like, it's going to be necessary. Like, I don't believe that Clay is just a tool that's going to be a nice to have. I believe probably in 3 to 5 years, almost everyone will be using Clay, right? Because it's just going to become necessary as the space gets busier and busier, right? So there's two ways that work really well to stand out against everyone else in your outbound messaging. One is personalize your emails, right? Make it seem like you actually researched the person and had a relevant reason for reaching out, and it's not just a random email, right? Make it feel like there's actually a person on the other end that put thought into reaching out to them, right? Rather than just an email blast. Problem with personalization is it takes a lot of time, or you have to pay a VA, which can really add up a lot, right? Like one of my clients has 4 VAs doing personalized emails, and 4 VAs salaries, even though VAs are cheaper, it still adds up, right? And if you could automate it, why wouldn't you, right? So with that said, AI has made it easier than ever to personalize. The problem is, ChatGPT can't really visit the web. It can't really visit these websites for you and personalize emails. But if you use Clay, you can do it through API, right? So basically, this allows. So imagine you're getting a bunch of data in one place. Imagine you're getting, like, in this case, we're getting information about open jobs, right? So we're getting the person's name, we're getting the person's email, we're finding information about jobs they're hiring for, we're getting information on these jobs, like what are the roles they're hiring for, right? What's the description? Where are they hiring? So imagine that, you can basically find any data on any data point on a certain company based on the fact that Clay has access to all the different databases out there that you might be using, right? So you get all that data in one place, and then you can use ChatGPT to basically, take the pieces, like organize the data you have and then turn that into an email, right? So it's all happening in one place. So basically, yeah, like AI personalization is easier than ever once you learn Clay, and anything is possible. Like if you can imagine any sort of personalized email or any interesting approach, you could do it with Clay, right? Like it's just, the sky's the limit. So it's really, really cool, really creative tool. Now, when I said that there's 2 ways to really stand out with your outbound messaging, that's one is personalizing your email. Another one is using intent data, right? Rather than emailing a huge list, find a list that's very hyper-targeted and is showing like a signal that they might be interested in your service, right? So try to build lists that are likely to have intent in your service, and that's also going to be another way that you get better results with outbound and stand out. And it's just where the industry is going, right? What used to work really well 3 to 5 years ago is slowly working less and less, which is take the same template, send it out to 100,000 people, and hope for the best, right? So in this case, the intent-based data is open jobs, right? So our client here, here we go. Our client here is a business consultant that specifically helps companies with their hiring and internal recruiting. So we figured, like, hey, let's find companies that are already hiring for people, right? Because then they're likely to have some problems with recruiting, or they're likely to at least be open to talk with someone about hiring or recruiting because it's top of mind, right? So see the difference? Like that's intent. That's rather than emailing every construction business, which is their industry, they're emailing construction businesses that are currently doing the thing that my client helps with, right? So those are really the 2 ways that it's just going to be so much easier for you to get results with outbound. And Clay helps you do both these things. It helps you find these intent-based lists better because again, you're connecting to all the different databases out there. And then at the same time, you're able to take that and use ChatGPT to actually personalize your emails based off of all that data you collected in one place. So that's why I believe this is super important. And I didn't mean to take so much time just explaining what Clay was, but I figured some of you don't know what it is, and the rest of this video isn't going to make sense if you don't really know what it is. But anyways, you can go to YouTube, how to use Clay. There's tons of videos on it. You can go to clay.com/university, and there's a bunch of videos that'll walk you through the basics of how you use it. But anyways, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a real life example. That way you can start to see what's possible. And you can take the Clay table here, put the link down below, and you can literally just do the exact same thing, because you don't have to be you don't have to offer a service related to hiring to use this open jobs or hiring personalization angle that I'm using, right? anytime a company is hiring in the department of like the area you help with, that's a great indication they could be open to work with you, and that's great personalization to use in your email, right? So like if you see a company's hiring for marketing jobs and you have a marketing agency, that's a great time to reach out. They're definitely trying to change things and grow with their marketing, right? So same goes for anything. So open jobs and hiring is a great filter that I'm going to use a lot more of, and you can steal this exact table to do exactly that. And if you're trying to run different campaigns and you don't really have a use for finding companies that are currently hiring, at least by looking at the Clay table, you can start to just reverse engineer it and start to learn Clay from it, and just kind of see like what's possible so you can apply it for other ways. So anyways, with that said, let me show you the template real quick so you can see the output. This is actually what we personalized, right? So everything in yellow is personalized, right? All completely with AI, right? Normally this would be like you'd have to pay a VA to do it, and this would probably take like 20 minutes for someone to go do by hand, right? Or you'd have to do it yourself, right? So what would normally take 20 minutes of research is now done in like a split second through AI, right? So this email is, hey Jim, I found your company on the platform. So we're even pulling like the jobs platform that we found their application on, and pulling that into the email. I saw that you had 22 open positions across these states, Utah, Arizona, and more. For example, and then we're referencing jobs that they're hiring for, right? Do you ever struggle to fill the positions with these best candidates and do it fast? I'm asking because we help roofing companies, also personalized, build better, more predictable hiring systems, right? So see, if you get an email like this, like sometimes when I get an email that's AI personalized, I can tell it's AI personalized because we all know the way that AI writes. Like ChatGPT just writes a certain really generic kind of like convoluted way, right? So you can kind of tell when it's AI personalized. Sometimes I get an email and like the first line of the email is basically just them just like regurgitating what's on my website, and you can tell it's AI personalized, right? But if you get an email like this, there's no way you would imagine, at least the average person, maybe marketers are a little bit different, but even still, there's no way that you would think this is AI personalized or some list. You would really think like it's a real person reaching out to you and took time out of their day to contact you, right? So yeah, it's just super cool what you can do with this, right? Second email, we're kind of reiterating some of the same data, but then we also have a PS where we talk about a recent post that we liked of theirs. So Clay can also scrape their LinkedIn post. It can take the most recent post, and then you can have ChatGPT write a summary of their most recent LinkedIn post, right? Same thing here, regurgitating same data in the third email follow-up, and then we say, hey, I saw on your website you focus on blank, and then we just pull out like what did they sell. Again, it's just to show like that this is a real email. I'm a real person. People are much more likely to. I'm much more likely to respond to an email when I feel like a person wrote it to me versus an email blast, because when someone took time out of their day to write the email to me, first of all, I just kind of like appreciate that, right? More than just a random email. I appreciate they did their research. But also I feel like it might be something important, right? Like if someone actually looked at my business and has something relevant to offer, right? That's much better than just, me being part of some list, right? And then email 3, we have, hey, is there someone else I should be speaking to, like name? So we also have Clay pull out another decision maker on their team and say, hey, should I be talking to this person instead, right? So the cool thing about this is every single email is personalized, right? Every email like really looks like we researched them. And the fourth email is the same thing, right? Hey, would it make sense I reach out to this person because this is a hiring and operations matter, right? And this is supposed to say, and they are the title. So we're referencing, hey, I saw that, John is your operations manager. Should I talk to him instead, right? So again, this is all done through AI. So let's talk about what it looks like in the Clay table real quick. And I'm going to bang this out quickly because I have 5 minutes before my next meeting. But anyways, what happens is like you can enrich data, you can find leads through Clay, or you can just connect Clay to like your Apollo or your LinkedIn and pull an existing lead list, right? So basically we had the lead list here, and then we have the website, the LinkedIn URL, all the data you would normally get from any kind of provider. And then we use this enrichment, which finds the open jobs, right? So this finds, okay, they are hiring for 15 roles. And then we basically just put these onto a different table. And it gives us all the information about what they're hiring for. It says what title they have, the salary, the location. So if you remember in my template, we had, hey, I saw that you're hiring for this many jobs across these states. That's because on Clay, we're pulling this data here, right? And we also pulled the URL of the application website, right? So on this example, we said, hey, I saw on Bamboo HR you're hiring. The way we did that is, again, we looked at the URL of where it found the jobs, and then we had a formula here to extract, like go into this mess and try to find out like what the name of the job posting website was, right? So then here we pull out the location, right? Here we pull out the jobs. And then here again, so this is what I mentioned before, we have ChatGPT go to this big mess over here where it's this long URL. And we say, hey, based on this URL, what is the name of the actual job posting website? Like, just give me the name of the company, right? Because you couldn't put this in an email. It would look really weird, right? So sometimes you get data from Clay, but it's messy, and you just use ChatGPT to basically clean it up. So that's the key to this whole thing is like ChatGPT is plugged into Clay, so it could just do anything for you inside of here, right? So now we have the name. Now we have that goes in our email, right? And again, all these personalized data points you're getting from Clay, this is just like when you go to launch a cold email campaign in Instantly or Smartly or whatever you use. The same way that you would upload the person's first name as a custom variable, you would just upload all of these columns as custom variables in a CSV, and that would be all your personalization within the email, right? So now we have the state over here. And now we have the job titles. Now we also had to normalize the job titles because some of the job titles are like really long. Like sometimes people, they put like really just unnecessary information in their job titles. So we just had ChatGPT say, hey, clean up this job title. Some people just put like unnecessary information. I just want you to give me the actual job title and shorten it to 3 words or less, right? And we give some guidelines here. And I also had so some of these people had like 10 jobs they're hiring for. I had to prioritize 3 based on the specific roles that my client could best help them fill. So basically ChatGPT was able to go into all the jobs postings that came back from this enrichment where we scraped open jobs. And then it was able to say, hey, give me 3 job titles that are the best ones that fit my criteria and clean them up so that they look like they would fit in an email, right? And now we put it together. Now this is just a column where I'm putting all the different data points together. So this is the output, right? I saw an applicant pro, you had 15 job openings across Ohio. For example, this, and this. So that's what goes in the actual email, right? And then here is a fallback line. So in case so you know, you can enrich every data point. Sometimes you might find a company where like they don't have open jobs. So we put a fallback line where, so basically like if we don't see the open jobs, we just put a different sentence in the email that makes sense for it. We also identified who is their largest competitor. This was with Clayagent, which is Clay's version of ChatGPT, but it can scrape the web. We're not using it in this campaign, but in a different campaign, we wanted to make it where we call out like one of their competitors. So that's something pretty cool. This is where the column's hidden now because I just hit some of the columns, but we had basically just ChatGPT. You could see it here, senior hiring contact. We had ChatGPT go to the LinkedIn company page and then find another decision maker that might be involved in what we sell, right? So that would be the vice president. So remember in the email I had a personalized part where I said, hey, if this isn't relevant for you, should I talk to your vice president, Jeff, instead? So that's where we get this from. It's from ChatGPT, going off their LinkedIn data, which is imported into Clay. And then here, if you remember in the template, I had a PS line, just kind of random personalization here to make it seem more personalized. And that's here where we do the find recent posts. So Clay has a scraper to find their recent posts based on the company LinkedIn URL. Again, you're just connecting the different columns you have in Clay and just doing stuff with them. That's kind of how it works. It finds 9 posts, and I have ChatGPT go and find a recent post that we can comment on to show that we actually have done our research. And another one here. So this is a fallback line. If the company doesn't have a recent post, then we have this column run where, okay, if they don't have a recent post, what else can we highlight? In this case, we just basically have the Clayagent AI thing analyze their LinkedIn history, like analyze their work experience and just compliment them. So this is like, oh, I saw you have a really cool background in construction, energy, financing. I'd love to chat more about that, right? So that's the gist of it. And the last thing is the company mission. If you remember, in one of our emails, we said, hey, I'm reaching out because I saw on your website you focus on these services, which is similar to a client that we just helped, right? So I'm kind of using this to like reference a case study, but I do it in a really natural, creative way. So here, I just have ChatGPT say, hey, go to the website, because again, another column in the table is the company's website. So I say, hey, go to the website, or actually it's based on the SEO description here, which also works, but the website is better, so I'll probably redo that after. And then, yeah, just write an introductory line to an email that, states kind of what you believe the company does and what they sell. and have it finish the sentence. And Clay has a bunch of templates for this. This is actually just one of their templates, right? So there's a bunch of templates within Clay you can just start off of if you're not too experienced with making AI prompts. But anyways, that's it. So now we have all these data points. So now whenever I upload my lead list to instantly to launch the campaign, I'm going to add these specific columns of personalization, and it's going to make my campaign super, super personalized and stand out way more than just a generic email. So anyways, that's what I've been working on recently with Clay. I'll post some more videos soon of some new stuff we're working on, but hope that was helpful. And if you want help from me and my team on doing any of this stuff, like Clay building, so if you want our team's help with your outbound campaigns and getting more clients, or if you just even want someone to help you build some super cool AI workflows like this or talk about it, let me know. You can book a one-on-one chat here, or I'll put the link below if it's on YouTube. But yeah, if you want someone to help just take over your outbound or just help you do it yourself, then just let me know. Happy to chat. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know below, and I'll see you soon. See you on the next one.